Welcome back, everybody. This is Brian Kirk with Eat to My Own Beat, taking the road less traveled with an episode of Languages and Religion. Today we're doing Argentina. Seems to be a bit of a theme of late. So we're going to talk about the languages of Argentina. Spanish is the language that is predominantly understood and spoken as a first or second language by nearly all the population of Argentina. According to the latest estimates, the population currently is greater than 45 million. English is another important language in Argentina and is obligatory in primary school instruction in various provinces. Argentina is the only Latin American country characterized as high aptitude in English, being placed 15th globally in the year 2015, according to a report from the English Aptitude Index. In 2017, Argentina fell 10 places from the best position. It fell to 25th position, though it continues to be the second highest ranked Ibero-American after Portugal. Guarani and Quechua are the other important languages in Argentina, with over 200,000 speakers and 65,000 speakers respectively. 15 indigenous American languages currently exist, and 5 others today exist in different regions. The vernacular indigenous American languages native to the Argentinian territory are spoken by very few people. In addition, there is lunfardo, a slang of a type of pidgin, which is original words from many languages. Among these languages are the ones in the Italian peninsula, like Piedmontese, Ligurian, and others like Italian, Portuguese, etc., and have been seen in Rio de Janeiro, Rio de la Plata area since at least 1880. There is also Portuñol, a pidgin Portuguese and Spanish language spoken approximately 1960 in the areas of Argentina that border Brazil. Another native language in Argentina is Argentine Sign Language, or LSA, which is signed by deaf communities. It emerged in 1885. After the above-mentioned languages, German follows around 200,000, including a significant number of Volga German dialects of the Plattdeutsch language. Multitude of Old World and immigrant languages are often spoken in the respective ethnic communities throughout the country. These include Albanian, Arabic, Armenian, Asturian, Basque, Belarusian, Bosnian, Bulgarian, Catalan, Chinese, Croatian, Czech, Danish, Dutch, Estonian, Finnish, French, Galician, Greek, Hebrew, Hungarian, Irish, Japanese, Korean, Latvian, Lithuanian, Macedonian, Norwegian, Occitan, Polish, Portuguese, Romanian, Russian, Serbian, Sloven, Swedish, Turkish, Ukrainian, Welsh, and Yiddish. Most of these languages have, with the exception of Chinese and Plattdeutsch, very few speakers and are usually only spoken in family environments. The official language of Argentina has not established legally as the Republic of Argentina, has not established legally an official language. However, Spanish has been utilized since the founding of the Argentinian state by the administration of the Republic in use of the education in all public establishments. So the basis of the secondary levels here is a mandatory subject of the Spanish or subject language since 1952. The Argentina Academy of Letters, which was founded in 1931, was regularly collaborated with the Royal Spanish Academy to register local variants. Even though Constitution establishes the jurisdiction of the National Congress to recognize the ethnic and cultural pre-existence of indigenous peoples of Argentina, the native languages have not recognized as an official except the provinces of Chaco and Corrientes. The most prevalent dialect in Argentina is Rio Platense, whose speakers are located primarily in the basin of Rio de la Plata. There is also Coyu Spanish and Cordobés Spanish. In the north, Andean Spanish is spoken. In the northeast, there is a great influence from the Paraguayan Spanish. Argentina is one of the several Spanish-speaking countries, along with Uruguay, Paraguay, El Salvador, Nicaragua, Honduras, Costa Rica, that almost universally uses what is known as voceo, the use of pronoun vos instead of tu, the familiar tu, as well as corresponding verb forms. A phonetic study conducted in the Laboratory of Sensory Investigations of CONICET and the University of Toronto showed that the intonation Porteño Spanish is unlike that of other Spanish varieties, and suggested that it may result in the convergence of Italian. Italian immigration influenced Lafardo, the slang spoken in Rio de la Plata region, permeating the vernacular vocabulary of other regions as well. As in other large countries, the accents vary depending on geographical location. Extreme differences in pronunciation can be heard within Argentina. One notable pronunciation difference found in Argentina is the sh sound and e and il. In most Spanish-speaking countries, the letters y and double l are pronounced somewhat like y in yo-yo. However, in most parts of Argentina, they're pronounced like sh in English, so as shoe, or like zh sounds as the sounds it makes in measure. In many of the central and northern eastern areas of the country, the thrilled R takes on the same sound as the double L and Y. Je, a voice palate fricative sound, similar to the S in the English pronunciation of the word vision. For example, Rio Segundo sounds like Zio Segundo, and Corrientes sounds like Cosiens. That's it for language of Argentina, and now we'll move on to the religion. Okay, and we move on to the religion of Argentina. Argentina, for much of its history, including the present day, has been overwhelmingly a Christian country. The largest Christian denomination in the country is Roman Catholicism. The historical background is very much due to the Spanish influence brought and through the newly conquered territories. However, immigration through the 20th century has brought other Catholics and denominations from various regions to Argentina. Overall, a 2005 survey found that 24% attended religious services regularly, and that 10.3% described themselves as unaffiliated. Only 35% of Argentinians consider religion to be a very important thing in their life, according to a 2015 Pew Research Center report. Argentina is also home to the largest Muslim community in Latin America, numbering around 400,000 people, or a total of 1% of the total population. As of 2019, 79.6% of the population in Argentina is Christian, 62.9% belong to the Roman Catholic Church, 15.3% is evangelical, 1.4% are other Christians, 18.9% are unaffiliated, and 1.2% belong to other religions. About 37% of Argentinians say that religion is not at all important in their lives, according to a 2018 Pew Research Center report. This percentage has been consistently above 30% since at least 2007. Christianity. Roman Catholicism. Estimates of number of Roman Catholics vary from low 60% of the population to as much as 90% of the population. The CIA fact book lists 92% of the country as Catholic, but adds that less than 20% practice their faith regularly. The society, culture, and politics of Argentina are deeply imbued with the Roman Catholic Church. The Church's place in Argentine national identity, which spans across the ideological spectrum, stems from the perpetual ability of Argentines on different sides of the political, social divides to find some level of support in the Church. The Church solidified its hold on the territory of modern-day Argentina during the period of Spanish colonial rule from the 16th to early 19th centuries. Church leaders variously opposed the policies of Juan Perón and the violent tactics of the Dirty War. Although Roman Catholics is not the official religion of the state, the freedom of religion is guaranteed by the Constitution. Catholic representation takes part in many state functions. Today, areas of the church-state contention include contraception, economic policies, and disputed involvement in the Church of the Dirty War. Catholic practices in Argentina, especially in indigenous areas, might be seen as incorporating a great deal of syncretism. For example, religious festivals in the northwestern provinces featured Catholic icons in or along with ancient Andean indigenous ceremonies. The Pacama worship is still widespread through the Salta and the Jujuy, along with the Catholic beliefs, without opposition from the Catholic bishops. The Church in Argentina is divided into dioceses and archdioceses. Buenos Aires, for example, is in the archdiocese owing to the size and historical significance of the capital and of the nation. Buenos Aires Metropolitan Cathedral, the seat of the Archbishop, houses and remains the General Jose de Sant Martin in Mausoleum. There are 9 Catholic universities in Argentina. Pontifical Catholic University of Argentina in Buenos Aires, Universidad del Salvador in Buenos Aires, Universidad Católica de Córdoba, University de La Plata, University de Salta, University de Santa Fe, University de Cuyo, University de Santiago del Estero. Religious orders run and sponsor hundreds of primary and secondary schools throughout the country, with and without the government funding. Cardinal Archbishop of Buenos Aires, George Bergoglio of Argentina, was elected to the papacy as Pope Francis on 13th of March 2013. Other Christian denominations. Protestant churches have been gaining ground since 1980. In Latin America, most Protestants are called evangelicals. One survey in 2008 found approximately 9% of the total population were Protestant, most of whom, 7.9% of the total population, was Pentecostal. While Pentecostal churches originally attracted the most of the lower class, they show an increasing appeal to the urban middle class. Middle class congregations developed a distinctive style of Pentecostal, more adapted to society. In addition, 1.2% of the population were Jehovah's Witnesses, and 0.9% of them were Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. The study also found that Protestants were the only group in which majority regularly attended services. As 2015 survey found, 15% Protestant, 9% Pentecostal, 2% mainland, and 4% refusing to say which Protestant denomination. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints claims over 432,000 members with 2 temples and 765 congregations. The first Wallenstein settlers from Italy arrived in South America in 1865, and today the Wallenstein Church of Rio de la Plata, which forms a united church with the Wallenstein Evangelical Church, has approximately 40 congregations and 15,000 members shared between Uruguay and Argentina. The Argentine Catholic Apostolic Church is derivative movement of the Brazilian Catholic Apostolic Church, founded by the excommunicated Roman Catholic Bishop Carlos Duarte Costa of Brazil in 1945. The Argentine Catholic Episcopal Church was founded, according to varying sources, in 1970 or 1971. In Buenos Aires by its first Archbishop Primate Leonardo Mauricio Dominguez. The Angelical Church of the Southern Cone of America represents the Angelical Communion in Argentina. A 2015 study estimates some 2,200 Christian believers from the Muslim background in this country, most of them belonging to some form of Protestantism. Orthodox Christianity is represented by Anatolian, Constantinople, Russia, Serbia, Romania, and Greek Orthodox churches. Okay, in Islam, Argentina has the largest Muslim minority in Latin America. Although the national census does not ask about religious affiliation, precluding accurate statistics, Argentina's Muslim community is estimated to be a number around 1% of the total population. Estimates in 2000 ranged around 400,000. The 20th century saw a great influx of immigrants from the Ottoman Empire, mostly Arabs and from Syria and Lebanon. They are generically called Turcos, or Turks, in Argentina, because when most arrived, Lebanon and Syria were territories of the Turkish Ottoman Empire. It is estimated today that there are 3.5 million Argentines of Arab descent. The majority of these Arab immigrants were Arab Christians, and some were Mizrahi and Sephardic Jews. Though accurate information is unavailable, it is likely that less than a quarter of the Arab migrants were Muslim Arabs. The descendants of Mizrahi and Sephardic Jews are more likely to identify themselves as just Jews rather than Arab Jews today. The King Fahd Islamic Cultural Center, the largest mosque in South America, was completed in 1996 with the help of the custodian of the two holy mosques on a piece of land measuring 20,000 meters square. The total land area granted by Argentine government measures 34,000 meters square and was offered by the President Carlos Menem following his visit to Saudi Arabia in 1992. The project cost around $30 million and includes a mosque, library, 2 schools, and a park. It is located in the middle-class district of Palermo, Buenos Aires. The Islamic Organization of Latin America, headquarters in Argentina, is considered the most active organization in Latin America in promoting Islamic-affiliated endeavors. The IOLA holds events to promote unification of Muslims living in Latin America, as well as the propagation of Islam. Judaism. Argentina has the largest Jewish population in Latin America and south of the Tropic of Cancer, with about 300,000 people. The community numbered about 400,000 after World War II, but the appeal of Israel and economic cultural pressures at home led many to travel for Israel, Europe, or the United States. Recent instability in Israel has resulted in the modest reversal of the trend since 2003. One of the Jewish groups in Argentina includes the Sephardi Jews, composed of Spanish and Portuguese migrants to Argentina. Migration began in the 18th century and continued until a few years following the birth of Israel. The majority of Sephardi Jews migrated to Argentina both because groups were speaking the Spanish language. However, after the creation of Israel, Sephardi tensions among Muslims in Latin America countries began to rise, resulting in the remaining Sephardi population found mainly in Morocco, migrating to Argentina. Buenos Aires holds almost all the Sephardic Jews, including the Argentina. Home to roughly 50,000. In Argentina, Sephardi Jews remain separate of the Ashkenazi Jews, who in later half of the 20th century made up most of the Jewish population in Latin America. However, as an overwhelming amount of Argentina became populated by Ashkenazic and Sephardic Jews, began marrying outside of the Sephardi Jewish community. Although Jews account for less than 1% of Argentina's population, Buenos Aires has the second largest population of Jews in the Americas, second only to New York City, and is 7th largest Jewish community in the world. Buddhism. Buddhism in Argentina has been practiced since the early 1980s. Although Argentina is largely Catholic Christianity Chinese, immigrants established the first Chinese Buddhist temple in 1986, and Korean immigrants founded their own temple since that have many groups have been given to their teachings. Some of them rooted in the best-known Soto tradition of Japan, but also many Tibetan institutes for the practice of meditation, Ma Mudra, Don Zen, and Lam Rim. The 14th Dalai Lama visited Buenos Aires twice. The first time was in 2006. The second was in 2011. Hinduism. Argentina has 2,030 persons of Indian origin and 1,300 non-resident Indians. Some of them still refer to Ayurveda, practice yoga, enjoy Indian classical music, and speak Hinduism dialects and religions. They have established an Indian association in the northern provinces and organize social and cultural events to celebrate Indian festivals. Unfortunately, there is still little interaction between them and those who have settled down in other parts of the extensive country. A large number of Indian diaspora living in Buenos Aires are businessmen, doctors, financial or business executives, employees of multinational corporations. Most of them have retained their Indian citizenship. Many Hindus are Indo-Caribbeans from Guyana, Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, and Suriname. The Constitution states that the federal government sustains the Apostolic Roman Catholic religion, but guarantees freedom of religion. In studies assessing both nations' levels of religious and regulation and prosecution with scores ranging from 0 to 10, where 0 represents low levels of regulation or persecution, Argentina receives a score of 1.4 on government's regulation and a 6 on social regulation of religion, 6.9 on government favoritism of religion, and 6 on religious persecution. The law that regulates and that acknowledges of religions by the state dates from 1978, makes it prohibitively bureaucratic and minority cults to obtain official recognition, since it was passed by the dictatorial government of the time, basically to search those cults for politically subversive elements. So that's the bit of history and information about the religion in Argentina. So we talked about the language and the religion in Argentina, and we will move on to next week's episode when we talk about the religion and language of Armenia. So until next time, keep eating at your own beat, take the road less traveled, and have a great day.